Guys, I'm an idiot. Now, stick around to the end of this video and you will know why I'm saying that, why it's not necessarily a bad thing, and why you should allow yourself to be an idiot now and then. Hello viewers, and welcome to a new RP Pico World tutorial video. As usual, I would very much appreciate if you would like and subscribe, and do check the description. I usually put some important links in that description, and if I make any errors in this video, they will also be listed down there. And please do leave a comment. I love to receive comments and I always reply. Now, about a day ago, it was actually yesterday, I published this video, the 320 megahertz overclock. I recorded that video about 1 or 2 weeks ago, so it wasn't. I wasn't thinking much about it. It was just the next one to get published, and it got published on the RP Pico World, which is a new channel that I made specializing in Raspberry Pi Pico, whereas my usual channel, the STM32 World channel, is specializing in STM32, obviously. Now, I must admit, when I recorded this video, I was really quite pleased with myself. I mean, look, the RP3350 is 150 megahertz MCU. That's what is guaranteed to run. And yet, I managed to overclock it up to 320 megahertz. That's more than double. And it seemed to be absolutely rock solid and completely stable. Now, as I said, I felt pretty proud of that until I read a comment on the video that was posted very, very quick. Guy called Piers Rocks. I have been chatting with him before, and he's absolutely brilliant. By the way, I'll link that down below as well. Go check his channel. It is very, very interesting in an extremely nerdy way, but very, very interesting YouTube channel. Even if I'm not particularly interested in vintage computers, which he's doing a lot of stuff with, but never mind, go check his channel. Now, his comment was, hey Lars, I overclocked the RP2050A on one ROM, that's the product he's making, to 540 megahertz at 1.6 volt. Perfectly stable, but it did get a bit warmer than usual. Have you come across the VREC CTRL register? You need to set this to go above 1.3 volt. And that was the moment I said, what the hell is going on here? Why didn't I check this? And is this really the case? So let's look at that 320 megahertz overclock code and see if there's anything we can do about it. So looking at the code, I started my program by setting the voltage, the internal voltage, up from the default 1.1 volt up to 1.30 volt, and then I set the clock frequency to 320 megahertz. Now, what I missed in my original, and why I feel like an idiot, is if I actually go in and look at this, I'm here at 1.3 volt, but there is a comment in the header file, the VREC header file. Above this point, you will need to set power domain VREC control disable voltage limit, and then you can go higher. I didn't notice, I can't remember if I said it in the video, but I did notice I couldn't go above 1.3 volt. It would fail. But you can see that if you do this, you can go much higher. Now the default is 1.1 volt, but well, always the maximum. Okay. Anyway, it turns out that there is actually a pico-sdk the function where you can disable that voltage limit rerec disable voltage limit, and if you do that you can go much higher. Now let's try to do what Piers suggested and go up to 1.6 volt, and then let's try to, well, first we can try if that works. It compiles. Let's try to flash product, and okay, I can, the easiest is I actually show you the device over there, and you can see that the LED is blinking. If that LED is blinking, it means it's running. So let's try to flash the project. And there you go. And you can see the LED is flashing. Now let's try to go above our 320 volt. And since I already heard 540 mentioned, let's go up to 540 megahertz and see if that works. And it didn't. Now, I was playing around with this quite a lot, and there is a few things that apparently needs to be done. First of all, I have this one where I create a small delay here in the beginning to allow that voltage to stabilize. And then there is this one. This took a lot of digging to find that, and I haven't actually dug into exactly what it is doing. I will, but I haven't done that yet. But apparently when you increase the system clock, the flash chip will screw up a bit, and by running that command, that all stabilizes. So let's try to compile and let's try to flash. And there you go, it blinking again. Now, before I actually show you the output, I also did one other thing in here. I created up here, I created these two functions where I initialize the ADC with the internal temperature sensor, and I create a repeating timer every half second that read the value from that ADC. So I always end up with an internal temperature raw, which is a global variable, which is updated every half a second. And then down in my main loop, I'm actually calculating the temperature based on that raw temperature, and there, and I print that out. So now, before doing anything else, let's go back, just because I want to demonstrate this. So let's, for fun, go all the way down to 150 megahertz. Now, I should mention, if you're a new viewer on this, what I do in this is that in my super loop here, I'm maintaining a loop counter, and then every half a second I go in and toggle the LED. Every 1 second I print out that tick variable. So by counting the number of times it loops around, I get an indication on how many instructions are actually executed every second. It's not a precise measure, but it is a measure of that. So let's try to run this. I'm going to do one other thing that may sound a little silly. I have some cooling spray, so let's give that a blast to cool it down. So because it is probably running a bit warmer than it should at the moment. And then let's look at the output, and I have it here. So starting up, the two cores at 150 megahertz, and is running at indicated around 37 degrees internally, and more importantly, it gets 24.9, almost 25 million loops every second it runs around there. It only executes this once every second, so that percentage-wise, that doesn't matter. But it gets around about 25 million times. Now let's try to go up to our 320, which we know we can do because that's where I reached last time, 320. And let's try to flash it with 320. Here we go. So 38.8 degrees roughly. Now we're running at 320, 2 cores running at 320. And you will see the temperature starts to creep up a little bit. 40.7, 40.25. So it is hovering around 40, it would appear, where it was 37.8, 38 degrees. So it went up with a couple of degrees or thereabout by getting the speed up to 320. Now let's try the amazing thing, 540 megahertz, and let's see if that works. First let's compile, and it compiles. Let's flash it and see what happens with the output, and you still have it running up there, so you can see. There you go. I can take that away, it's not all that interesting. And you will see it went from 25 million up to nearly 90 million loops. It is a mind-boggling increase in speed. The fact that you can run these RP3350 almost 3 times faster that they are guaranteed to run, and everything seems to work. And I had this running all night. I did this last night, and it was running all night. When I woke up in the morning, it was still blinking. So, I mean, that's not a scientific evidence. It's not a particularly good test, but it proves that this actually works. And you can see the temperature. It crept up from 38 degrees to 43, 44 up there. Now, if I touch it, I can feel that it's slightly warmer, but it's still not hot. So 540 megahertz, it's mind-boggling. And what I said in the introduction that I feel really, really stupid, I'm an idiot, is the fact that I didn't read this comment and I missed that completely. But the point I was trying to make in the beginning and the point I'm making now is like embedded development is all about being an idiot, because only when you have these experiences of why didn't I think about that? And it's like, I cannot count the number of times I have struggled with some challenge, and I struggled with it for days, and I just couldn't solve it, and then all of a sudden, bam, oh God, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I think of that? And it just works. And that is very much the way you are learning embedded development. So please, dear viewers, you have to allow yourself to be idiots, to feel like idiots occasionally. You shouldn't be an idiot, but you should feel like an idiot occasionally, because you only feel like an idiot when you actually discover that you did something that was fairly idiotic, but you managed to overcome that. And that is the learning experience more than anything else. 540 megahertz without any cooling, without any artificial, just by playing around with the values inside the MCU, and completely. So we have, and I don't mean to do ST microelectronic bashing here, but the fact is that an STM32F407, I think, can manage one core with about 16 million of those loops in one. Here we have 2 cores running nearly 90 million loops every second, and for a price that is about a third or quarter of the STM32 MCU. And I also have the RISC-V. I haven't tried to overclock the RISC-V course either, but I will at some point because I need to feel like an idiot again. Okay, the temperature is 40, gets up to about 47. So it's almost running 10 degrees warmer than it did at 150 megahertz. Well, as usual, please do like and subscribe, and please do have a look at our Streamline boards. I am running this on a RP3350 on a Streamline board with the DAP link on the programmer right next to it. I will link those down below as well. Please, if you want to support this channel, go and get one of those. It is by far the best way you can support this channel. And as usual, have a wonderful rest of the day.